Hey everyone, this is Eric with Shire Lawns. Yes, I did this video and the other videos that are nearby this one all on the same day. I'm wearing the same clothes. Just wanted to kind of get the elephant out of the room. I'm not a professional streamer or a professional videographer. I'm not even a professional lawn care person yet. So I'm hoping that this kind of organic feel is coming across because I want you to feel like you are starting this with me because we literally are here in this together. This video is going to be talking through some of the strategies that I started using at the beginning of this whole business idea. Some that started well before I even got my LLC and became legitimate. Others that I've initiated over the last month or two that have worked for me. As a reminder, or if the first time you're seeing this video or any of my videos, I am 2 weeks into this. I launched March 1st of 2025. The business officially started at the beginning of this year, but because I was still in my full-time position as a loan officer assistant, I couldn't really get into this full-time, and that was my desire. So here we are. So there's a couple different strategies. I know that a lot of this information isn't new, but it's new for me, so I figured I would go through it with you. The number one resource that I have found and has been very, very useful is Facebook, and I think anybody in this industry would agree with that. Facebook is a fantastic way to get leads, not necessarily get the clients, but you're at least getting people to reach out to you and ask about your services. One of the number one things that I feel like I could share that has already been a massive win, and this is something that comes from my background in the mortgage world, is all about, well, it's two parts. One is clear and fast communication, and as my friend Pete says, the fortune is in the follow-up. One thing that a client, and think about this from your own perspective, as a client looking for a service need, when you reach out to somebody, you expect a return, a response. So far, in the last 2 weeks, specifically with one client that I helped this past week, it's become very clear that while there are a lot of people in this industry doing this, there's not a lot of people reaching back out to clients, or at least not quickly. I have found so far that reaching out to somebody and then following up with them if they don't answer you within 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, has gotten me a handful of leads already, just because I was persistent but not annoying. And there's a fine line between those. You can absolutely be annoying and spam people with text, emails, calls, whatever, to try and get their business, but I can tell you personally, me as a millennial, I hate that. I do not want somebody calling me over and over again or texting me, hounding me for their to take their business. That's to me, that's not a good tactic. But you also can't just lay back and say, well, I sent them a text message or an email and they'll get back to me when they feel like it. Because the truth of it is, you and probably 20 other contractors out there have all reached out to the client because they saw a post on Facebook or they saw it on, a website, on Google, whatever it was. So my advice to you, and what's worked for me so far, is to reach out immediately and to be clear. Say to the client very clearly what you're there to help them with, and it's perfectly fine to say no to a job. I went into this thinking I'm going to take any job that comes my way because I got to get this thing off the ground. But the reality is, I'm one guy. I don't have any employees, and I can't afford to go out and take jobs that are going to take 8, 10, 24 hours to complete, that are going to be back-breaking work for one person. That would just be crazy. Like, even if I got a massive payday from that, it in the long run is not going to be sustainable. So I have to be really careful with that. So when I reach out to clients, I ask them immediately a couple things. First of all, how can I help? Where are they located? And if they're already working with somebody, I'll ask them, like, hey, what went wrong? Or, maybe it's nothing wrong, they're just looking for a better rate, whatever it is. It's always good to ask, and I don't think there's anything wrong in doing that. But, use some tact. Don't come at them from, like, what's wrong with your current guy or something like that. Just be like, I always phrase it as, hey, just out of curiosity, what happened with the last guy? Is there something that I can make sure that I do for you that will keep us from having that fight or whatever it is that led to them looking for some new business. So Facebook, back to that real quick. So Facebook has a lot of different resources. I live in Delaware. Delaware is a small state. We're not the smallest, but we're definitely one of the smaller states. We have very tight-knit groups of communities that are broken down into literally like the towns. Like I kind of view it as our towns are like sports teams. Everybody roots for the town they're from. A big one here is Lewis, Delaware. Everyone that isn't from here will call it Lewes because that's kind of what it looks like. But if you come here and say Lewes, you're gonna get made fun of. It's Lewis. Lewis is the first town in the first state, so it's got a lot of historical background. There's people that have literally lived here their entire lives and can trace their lineage from the time they came to the U.S. To now through that town. So it's a really deep, tight-knit community. What's cool about this with Facebook is that each of these towns have their own groups. So I have already utilized myself, my friends, and my wife to get connected with these communities and watch for people asking for services. Now, I will give you a heads up, there are some groups out there, and I don't know if this is just a Delaware thing or if this is everywhere, but there are some groups that will have restrictions on what you can do. One for an example is that I cannot post about my business on Tuesday through Thursdays, but Monday and Friday is perfectly fine. There's another one I'm in, they don't care. As long as you're from the town that you're in the group for, you can advertise as often as you want. My advice, the same thing with the follow-up stuff. Don't hound people with it. Don't be annoying. Nobody likes an annoying business person. They want to come to you because they like either your ad, your attitude, or what you have to say. I find that is kind of the rule of thumb when finding clients. Also, just as kind of throw this out there, be careful what you're saying out there, not only on your advertisements for business, but on your personal pages, because it's really, really easy to find who you are, even if you have a page and that's the only thing that you talk through. I've always had a firm belief in not bringing specifically politics, but really any kind of touchy subjects into your business unless that's literally what your business is for. It just gets messy. It's unnecessary. Stick to what you're there to do and keep the rest of your opinions kind of to yourself. I think that works really well in the business world, but that's my opinion. Maybe I should have kept that to myself. So Facebook is a great resource. One other thing that we have had some luck with, and I say we, my wife and I, she's a marketing master. This is literally what she does for her job. She's been looking on Nextdoor. I think Nextdoor is a great resource, specifically for our area. We have a lot of tourism here, and there's a lot of people that have rentals and vacation homes. Where I live, we're at the beach. We have a lot of really nice beaches here, so people flock here in the summer. We grow like 3 times in size each summer. So with that, there's a lot of properties that need to be maintained by people that don't live here. And if you don't live here and you're not part of this community, you don't know how to find those services and you don't know who to trust. So resources like Nextdoor are great because they're literally putting themselves out there to look for somebody to come to them and help them out. Now, my experience so far, I have had, I think, 3 potential clients, and I've only retained one of them. The other 2 were looking for, inexpensive, cheap jobs, and that's not what I'm about. I'll talk about this in other videos in the future, but my business standards are that I am not a kid in a neighborhood with a lawnmower anymore. This is a business. I have costs that I have to cover. I have to make money, so I can't just take any job out there. Nextdoor may not always be like that, but for me, that's been what I've noticed so far, is that it tends to have the people that are looking for the best deal possible, and that's fine. I think that's great. You just have to be, as a business owner, for me specifically, I have to be mindful of what I need to make per day and what my absolute minimum is for any job, and then you got to stick to it. The only other resource that, to keep this video from being, half an hour, I would talk about is a website. So when I first started the idea of the business, I was immediately like, I'm gonna have a website. I am gonna have the best social media possible. I'm going to do this, I'm gonna do that. And I have the time right now to do that kind of stuff and maintain it, but I know that when the business picks up and I start having more clients, having those resources are gonna be fantastic for getting clients, but they're also going to add a lot more job time behind the scenes, you know. And the goal with this job, not only was it to work for myself and get to kind of do what I want to do, but also to have more time with my family, have a lot more lax schedule to be able to help out with things like daycare pickups and just in general being around. So with a website, I definitely recommend doing that, but take on what you feel is a reasonable amount. So for instance, the website that I chose was through Squarespace. I didn't do a cookie cutter. I did do some custom designs with it, but I kept it really, really simple. I wasn't going to go for a website that's going to require constant daily updates. I don't have like a ticker banner at the top that has, you know, discount information and stuff that I have to keep in the back of my mind thinking, oh crap, I have 20% off on this thing or that thing that I have to take down before a certain day. I'm not doing that stuff because I need my website to be a source of information that gets clients to come to me and they have an idea of who I am and what I do. That is the sole purpose of that. On the flip side of that though, I do plan to have updated reviews for clients because that's something that they want to see. I do plan to have some videos on there like this one that are going to be a little bit more about me and what the company does. As the business goes on and as I service more clients, I'm going to have footage of those jobs, both large and small. I'll have photos. Those are all things that you want to update on a website. You don't want it to be stagnant. You don't want people coming back to see the same thing over and over again. You do have to maintain and take care of that. So whether you do that yourself or you pay for somebody to do it for you, I do recommend doing a website. It not only helps get more people in the door, it helps with Google. It helps with Google reviews, and it helps with the search engine optimization, SEO. You got to have a website because if you're only using Facebook, which I think is fine, if that's the route you got to go and money's tight, go for it. But Facebook is not going to funnel leads from the internet to you as successfully as a website will. It also has the perk of looking very professional. I chose initially to go with a Gmail account. Again, nothing wrong with that. I think there's a lot of people that do that for their business, but I wanted to stand out. I wanted to look as professional as I possibly can. No matter how goofy I am and all the fun stuff that I have planned to do in the future, I want people to look at a legitimate business. So I went out and got a domain name and I built my website around that domain name, and then I had an email address that coincides with that website. So I think that's going to help in the future. Handing out a business card that says eric@shirelawnsde.com. Go ahead and email me if you want. That is going to feel professional, and it's going to help someone think that they're not just picking up somebody that has no idea what they're doing, which I do have an idea of what I'm doing, but I am new, so it helps get that feeling across the clients. So I'm sure I have a lot more tips and things I can share, which I will put in other videos for you, but I hope this helps. If you have anything to add to what I've said, or maybe have tried some of these things and they didn't work out for you, succeed or fail, I want to hear about it. So let me know down in the comments section. If you liked this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. It helps with the algorithm to get more views so more people can be here to help and watch my journey. And also subscribe if you feel like it. I would love if you did that so that I can see who's following and we can keep working on building content that you all want to see. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have an excellent day.